Greatness at track number 9. Stay on the right track and let your light shine. Step by step, reach for what's true. Track number 9. Your greatness is waiting for you.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to track number 9. Thank you for joining me, enjoying your tea, enjoying your coffee, getting yourself ready to go out and do your laundry. Good morning, Brother Bobby Stewart. It's so good to see you this morning. Sister Cheryl from the West Coast, thank you for joining us, tuning in. Sister Gail Evans, one of the best artists in town. If you ever need a mural done, you better look her up. Michelle Johnson, my very best friend from Job Corps. Good morning, my brother Jerome from the Eastern Shore. My man Bobby Pittman, Champ Nation, one of the brightest brothers as the University of Baltimore ever produced. Good morning, man. I'm just so happy to see you guys, man, because it's been a tough week for me. And I'm always good morning, my little cousin, man, Mark Mars. He is the best father on the planet, and he's young. He love his babies. So don't ever be fooled, man, that you don't have beautiful young black men who love their children. He love his babies. Best father I've seen, man. Um, but yeah, it's been a tough week for me. Found out my dog has cancer. I was gonna do this at the end of the show, but I'm gonna go ahead and get the elephant out of the room because I have been quite emotional. I miss going to a friend's retirement celebration and everything because it just kind of took me down, man. I'm gonna show you guys a picture of my little baby. Her name is Day Day. At the end of the show, I'm gonna let y'all see little Day Day. But yeah, man, it's crazy. My dog has cancer, and it's she's 10 years old. She's lived a good life, but shoot, I got a 16-year-old. Good morning, Sister Juanita Brown. Good morning. I got a 16-year-old dog, and one thing that I know, man, if you take care of your pets as well as you take care of yourself, you live a long life. You know what I mean? You take care of your pets, and they'll live a good long life. But yeah, these dogs have been my companions, man. These dogs have saved my life. I actually got a little short book that I working on. I'm gonna put it out there because my dogs they saved my life, and I wanna share that with people. Be a short story. I'll probably put it on ebooks and yeah, just maybe ask for a $10 donation. But yeah, that thing is something else. But I'm just learning how to trust God and to allow myself to work through these things, all of the issues and the problems and things that arise in my life. I look at them as lessons. Hey, brother. Hey, good morning. That's my man, brother Ronnie Smith, the best car detailer in town. I know some good people, man, very talented people. But I'm just learning how to let God help me through these processes and just to work through them because we can't give up. Grief, loss. Some people lose their children. Some people lose their mothers, their fathers, and we have to find a way to keep moving. We have to find a way to get up every day and to continue living and continue to do what we do. I really think that, especially in the black community, I really think that part of our problem is grief. I feel like we've been grieving for 400 or 500 years since we've been here, right? And then on top of that, having so many struggles and having to go through so much just to live, just to be able to walk into a store without somebody following you, just to be able to drive down a road in Minnesota, uh, uh, Alabama, Tennessee, without somebody just stopping you and considering doing harm to you simply because of the color of your skin, right? Um, but yeah, I feel like we're grieving. I feel like the children. Thank you, Sister Juanita Brown. I appreciate that. I feel like the children are grieving. I feel like the children are acting out as juveniles. I feel like they're acting out because of so much grief and loss. So many of the children I know here in Baltimore City that we see in the streets. 10, 11, and 12, their parents are dead. You know what I mean? They might have lost their mother to HIV. The father might be in prison. The mother might have been killed. The father might have been killed. The only person that ever loved them or showed them love besides their parents probably was their grandmother. And she might be 75 or 80 years old. Can't really keep up with the young people. But I really feel like our children and us, I feel like we're just in a constant state of grieving. So again, I'm relying on my Lord and Savior to help me through these processes because I'm still working on making it home to God. I could lose my mind and do a set it off and a Queen Latifah, as broke as I am, go rob a damn bank and say the hell with it. Put a mask on. The next thing y'all know, I be got that damn Cadillacs. I be riding around. Y'all be like, damn, Monica must have hit the number. No, sometimes people will just settle for that short term gain of feeling of relief of I'm out of poverty now and I got houses, I got cars, knowing that eventually it's going to catch up with you. And I just don't want to be one of them people that give up and do things that I know is detrimental. It feel good at the time when you doing those daggone schemes and you getting over with that COVID money, people ended up with 50, 60, $100,000. They busted one sister, man, down in Florida. She ended up with $32 million. Kylie Thomas is here. Hey, beautiful sister, good morning. But yeah, she ended up with $32 million during the COVID thing. And I know she was living large. She probably had more cars and was going to different places, going to different countries. But that stuff will catch up with you. So it is better to keep your composure and continue to do what God would want you to do. And that's just where I'm at right now. I'm just trying to hold on to my sanity and going to love up on my little dog and don't let this cancer diagnosis take away the life that I know that she deserves. I'm gonna do everything I can to make it a good life until God call her home. Same way I'm doing myself, doing the best that I can until God call me home. But anyway, enough about little Day Day and her diagnosis of cancer, because I know it's other people who had to put pets down or who had a dog that they lost or ran off, and I know what that pain can be like for real. But anyway, I want to use some mash up Saturday. So it's like popcorn. We're going to just talk about different subjects. And as soon as we get this call in, man, as soon as we get this call in working, we really can have a good mash up Saturday because there's so much happening, right? And what happens is the news cycle. They count on putting news out there, and before you know it, hey, Sister Denise, our West Baltimore chaplain, she's with Moms Demand Action, a good sister. Shoot, I was down on my luck, man, and needed some food in my house, and sister came through. But anyway, it's so much that's happening. They rely on the news cycle to be so much that we forget about Nolan Wells and be like, man, whatever happened to the little black kid that supposed to had drowned, or he ended up dead, nobody knows how. But next thing you know, they give you more information, more stuff, and you better forgot what previously happened. They had a young guy in one of them states, man. They found his body wrapped up in a carpet in the gym. He had blunt force trauma to the head and some other stuff, and his organs were missing. And the alleged possible perpetrator's father is a former like FBI agent or something. So he would know how to take the organs out because the organs help determine the time of death when you take that out. And that's what happened in this case with Nolan Wells. Unfortunately, the brother Ben Crump had gotten involved, but unfortunately, the medical examiner had removed the larynx, the esophagus, I believe, and some other parts of the body to examine it. And in being fair, that's what they do when they do an autopsy. But they took it out, removed it, and they keeping it. So as Colin Kaepernick paid money to have a independent autopsy done, they are not giving them those vital organs, because if he did drown, then hey, Miss Gwen, good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah, my four-legged babies, man. But if in fact he actually drowned, then it would be in his lungs. In some kind of way, that would be an indication that he actually drowned. But the medical examiner, they they won't turn over the boy organs. It's kind of crazy that they would remove it. And I think they claim that they destroy them. Who does that? Who does that? But I think they claim they destroy the organs. But again, it's so much of this stuff that's happening, and before you know it, the news been turned over, and you better forgot exactly what's going on in the world. So stay caught up always and keep up with things that's going on. But one thing I wanted to discuss that's in the news, and if you have a topic that you think we should cover, put it in the chat. And I know a little bit about everything, just a little bit, un poquito, as they say in Spanish, a little bit. But I wanted to kind of get your notion. Oh, Sister Roxanne Prettyman. Whenever my sister show up, I always smile. I love Roxanne. I love Roxanne Prettyman. But I wanted to talk about and get your intake. They had talked about it on Dr. K's show. I believe Brother Lawrence Bell was sitting in for her at WEAA over at Morgan State. And I know he had briefly talked about it. And it's all over social media. So I said, I wonder how the folks in Baltimore and California, Eastern Shore, we got a person tuning in, I think, from New Jersey. But I wonder how you guys feel about a Sister Cheryl Ward, Tuskegee University ban bonnets, do-rags, and bedroom shoes. They also changed the phone policies as well. Now, currently, Tuskegee University, which is a historically black college and university, in case you don't know, HBCU, currently the Tuskegee University is experiencing its highest enrollment in over three decades, in over 30 years. In over 30 years. Let me see. Miss Gwen said they claim they keeping the organs for further examination. Okay. They just holding on to the organs. They might end up coming up missing. For real. That's just a crazy story, but you really gotta keep up. Because the news is what's shaping our minds. The news that we watching is what's causing us to make conclusions. We always should research ourselves. You can't believe what these people say on this TV. I'm telling you, they full of it. Um, but yeah, I wanted to get you guys a notion about how do you feel about dress codes in the African American community at historically black colleges and universities, and just dress codes. Period. They had a case down here in Baltimore City. It's a restaurant owning group called the Atlas Group, and they own all of the. Good morning, Miss Markia Barnes. That's my beautiful cousin, y'all. Y'all should see Markia. She is a tall, beautiful brown girl, and her mother, LaFay Allen, is here. Another beautiful brown woman. I got some good-looking folks in my family. You should see them. But anywho, the Atlas Group here about 2 years ago, there was a little black kid in the restaurant. He had on these little shorts and something else. And the restaurant told the mother that she could not come in with her child dressed in these little Nike shorts. He was cute, little Nike shorts and little shoes. The group refused the mother entry into the restaurant to say, well, you can't eat here because of the way the child is dressed. And then they had turned around and it was a Caucasian baby, beautiful little blonde haired baby. He had on shorts and things like that. So they had filed a discrimination suit, and I think successfully, so that they have, dress codes. They do. Certain restaurants you can't go into without having on, dress clothes. Certain times, certain nightclubs, they say no tennis shoes, no jeans, and then they have a nerve that to make then they have a nerve to make a rule to say no pants sagging. They don't want to see them boys' little dirty drawers, honey. I know, right? Pants sagging, that's crazy. But yeah, they have a policy in some places where you can't even come in if you don't have a belt on. No pants sagging in here. So, with that said, there is a such thing as dress code, but there's also a such thing as a cultural norm. And it seemed like that we get away from cultural norms. It used to be the norm that before you walked out of your house, you made sure you was in order. I know my mother, my aunties, my aunt Bernie, my aunt Rainey, my mother Lolita, my father, all of them, when you see pictures of them back in the day, they got suits on and they wasn't even really going nowhere. They had little dresses on. They wore something underneath of the dresses called a can. I don't know what that was. I think that was like a slip or something. I don't know. But they wore this stuff under there and they were dressed every day. My grandmother, they said, Assalamu alaikum, dear sister. It's so good to see you this morning, Sister Salima. I love you, Sister Salima. Thank you for joining me. But my grandmother, she was known and pretty popular because she always kept her children dressed really nice. Her kids were always dressed nice. And my mom actually was a seamstress and she used to sew all of me and my sister's clothes. I have pictures of me with dresses and outfits on that my mother actually sewn. Because you imagine back in the day, you couldn't go to a Nordstrom's. You couldn't, oh man, thank you. Prayers for Day Day. I appreciate you, cuzzo. But you couldn't just walk into Nordstrom's. You couldn't just walk into different department stores. So if African American people wanted to have a nice suit or a nice dress, or like they doing them prom dresses, they couldn't go to a boutique because they weren't allowed because of segregation. So they were making their own clothes, and I mean nice clothes. My mother made one outfit, man. She had these damn rhinestones on it. Looked like she played in the Jetsons. She had rhinestones on this bad boy, this jumpsuit. It was nice though. It was nice. She would put all kinds of stuff on her clothes, man. God bless her. I love my mom. I miss her. But yeah, man. So now here we are in 2026, far away from those cultural norms where we wouldn't let our children go outside with their pants sagging. They couldn't go outside if their hair wasn't done. My sister Cheryl said, "Thank you for touching on the grandmothers, great grandmothers who stepped in to take care of the children left behind." Amen. Amen. I got some tissue today because I'm just feeling a little emotional. And you guys know I will shed a tear. Amen. That's how God wash away all of those feelings. That's me just cleansing my spirit and just getting that stuff up out of me. But yeah, Sister Cheryl said, thank you for touching on that topic. And we definitely can touch on the topic of the grandmothers because it is the grandmothers who are in the gap, the aunties, the uncles, sometimes a cousin that's taking care of these children. My grandmother took care of me and my sister. My grandmother, when my mother was running around in them streets and everything, God rest her soul. But my grandmother took care of us. Remember, I told y'all before, she used to make us go to church every Sunday. Sister Sawyer picked us up every Sunday. Now, I told y'all, and I was honest, I split my money with Jesus. I gave Jesus a quarter, and I kept a quarter. And I was loaded with candy. My God, I used to be hype as I don't know what in church, amped up after that candy used to cost a penny. So imagine having 25 pieces of candy in my pocket. Boy, oh, I used to be a mess. I'm telling you. Little Monica and everybody in Sandtown, West Baltimore know me. Everybody, the city, they always say Little Monica used to be something else. And I was. I'm mature, better, got a little gray hair and everything. But praise God for maturity and growth. And thank God I'm still here because I done been involved in some stuff. But bringing it back to this conversation of dress codes, I think what we have is we have younger parents, and younger parents don't seem to tap into that history or don't seem to know what cultural norms are. Nobody is passing that stuff on to the next generation. because it was passed on to us. When I talked to my Aunt Bernie, let me see what Brother Jerome. Brother Jerome said, why would somebody keep or destroy someone's organs that you didn't give birth to? Return the remains back to the family. I agree. I agree for a proper burial. But I believe they doing that in their young brother Nolan for cover up, because they did say that the one of the little guys that was there, his mother is a judge, and she got rid of all his social media stuff and whatnot. So she already injected herself to make sure her son is not implicated. But yeah, I was saying that, the cultural norms are not being passed on. I talked to my Aunt Rainey, I talked to my Aunt Bernie, I always talk to, the elders in my family to find out what life was like. And my aunt would share with me that we used to live in the 1100 block of Cary Street, right at Winchester and Cary in West Baltimore and Sandtown. And they would share with me how they would get dressed up on Sundays and go into the parlor. And when you go into these houses on Cary Street, they always had this first room and it had these sliding doors to it. And we had a vestibule, which is always a funny word, a vestibule. I can't even say it. I think it's called a vestibule or vestibule. Whatever it is, I always thought the word was funny. And that's the little place just before you go through one door, you're in the vestibule, and then you had another door. And then to the left, it was a room, but it had, when you looked, it had these sliding doors. And my aunt told me that used to be their parlor, and it had a piano in there. And the family would just get dressed up and go into the parlor, and you couldn't go into the parlor unless it was some special event or it was on a Sunday. So again, these are cultural norms where you would never go outside in pajamas, and you would never go outside with stuff on your hair rollers. Good God Almighty. That was a no-no. If you seen some lady with some hair rollers in her hair, they would say, she looks so trifling. Because it was just something that you did not do. Walking around in flip-flops and sliding up and down the street, you just didn't do that. You just didn't do it. You didn't wear bedroom slippers and flip-flops and all like that outside. And I guess if I had to take an educated guess, I would think that coming out of 1865, coming out of slavery, and how African American people wanted to be seen as a human being, somebody that's decent and somebody that deserves respect. And I feel like what we have been doing since we've been here in this country is trying to prove to people who are not from our community that we deserve respect. I wear a suit and tie just like you. I work every day just like you. And I think we've been trying to prove that we are human and deserve to be treated as human beings. Because you and I know, and the people who are listening, we know that, these some of these wicked people, man, they have treated us worse than they would treat their own dogs. The things that have been done to black people is just it's so disturbing. Sister Gwen said when they first lied about Nolan not having his cell phone, we knew right away there was a cover up. Young people will have their phone when they don't have anything else. That's true. And that's and somebody got pictures. They take pictures of everything, if you will. Yeah. And sister Allen, LaFay Allen, that's my baby. She says that they was well dressed. Yeah, and getting back to that is that it was and always have been cultural norms to be well dressed. But in my mind, I'm thinking that the struggle to be seen as a human being and somebody that's not deserving of being lynched and murdered and decapitated and all that stuff like an animal is part of why our folks wanted to make sure that we dressed up every day and that we conducted ourselves in a certain way. Before they take you out, back in the day, before they take you out, they say, look, we're going over here to such and such a so and so. Don't ask for nothing. Don't act like we don't feed you. Don't ask for nothing. Or they say don't touch anything. They give you the ground rules. And they say don't embarrass us. Don't act a fool when we get out here. Because it was always important that black people present themselves in a way that they felt was acceptable to society. So you would teach your children, don't act a fool out in the streets. Don't act ignorant out in the streets. Carry yourself in a certain kind of way before you embarrass yourself and the whole family. Oh, Brother Jerome says, speaking of dressing up and groomed hair, shout out to your barber. Oh, yeah, yeah, I got a little fresh cut. It cost me enough. $40, man. I say, damn, I gotta learn how to do this myself. The barbers are getting out of control. Somebody told me that there's barbers out here that charge you $100, $125. I say they think they celebrity barbers. The hell with that. But anywho, I really feel like African American people have been really just struggling trying to be seen as human so that other people can treat them decently. And I think that the younger people feel like I don't have, I was going to say SHIT, I don't have anything to prove to anybody. I see our young people acting in rebellion to what the folks did before them. I think that the elders, they don't have respect for what they were doing and the standard they were trying to set because they feel like you only acting like that to impress the white man. You only saying that because you're scared of what white people are going to say. You know what I mean? And it's true to an extent. It's true to an extent that when they told you don't be acting a certain kind of way, it really was because you don't want white people to look at you and say, look at them damn ridiculous little children. Look at them little heathens. Look at them, yeah. So it is true to an extent, but it is also something that we should, yeah, Sister Sawyer, cousin, but it's also something that we should, in my opinion, my humble opinion, is also something that I think that we should embrace as a culture in terms of being decent, upright people. They teach you that in the mosque. They teach you that in the church. They teach you that God wants us to be decent, upright human beings, and that just simply means people who are going to dress in a certain way. You don't show your adornment. You don't show all your cleavage. Like the ministers say, the baby think it's feeding time, but you come through the door, all your breasts out. He think it's time for him to eat. You got so much of yourself exposed. Um, yeah, Sister Carly said, but respect don't change. You treat people like you want to be treated. True indeed, and that's the other factor. I really feel like if we change the way we dress, we could actually change the way we think and feel. You know how some people, man, get a fresh haircut or you get a fresh pair of sneakers, you like, damn boy, you're acting brand new. Because you do feel brand new. They might start looking up to the sky, like, damn boy, you're acting kind of uppity, you got that fancy suit on. And it can change you, sometimes for the better and sometimes for the worse. Because I've seen people who might have had a come up, or as we say in the street, had a little lick, had a little come up. They might buy themselves a pair of Pradas. They might buy a nice pair of Gucci shoes, or they might have cars and whatnot. And their attitude and disposition changes. They start acting like they're better than people, start looking down on people, and start mistreating people. I can say it openly. I don't know what, maybe one day that boxer Floyd Mayweather might come across this video, and it's okay. But I never really, took to Floyd Mayweather too much. Two for a penny when I was little. Yeah, man. Wow, two for a penny. Hey, sister, sure, I would have I'd have been running through that church like I had the Holy Ghost. If I had two pieces of candy for a penny, phew, I already had 25, and they had to keep telling me sit down. Always, Monica, sit down. I say, boy, I'm gonna get hit upside the head with that Bible. But if I had two pieces of candy for 20, that's 50 pieces of candy. I would have probably consumed every one of them. Woo! Good God Almighty. My heart beating and racing now just thinking about it. But I was saying is that money and things and clothes can certainly change a person. It will change your attitude, sometimes for the better and sometimes for the worse. But if you have ever taken Like I see the brothers here that's we our us. I seen the graduation that they had. Man, that thing. Woo, Lord. I seen the graduation that they had on Facebook, right? And they had maybe 30 boys. And I mean, they had some little ones. I know the little ones had to probably been about 8 years old, maybe even 5 years old. And they were all in ties, white shirts, black pants. Nobody's pants was sagging. And they were standing up straight. And they, phew, man, that thing had me so emotional because I know the trajectory of these babies. When you look at 30 of them boys, out of the 30, imagine how many of them going to be murdered in the street if they don't stay on the right track. When you look at 30 of them boys, imagine how many of them in their lifetimes going to lose a parent early to drugs, going to lose a parent early to prison, going to lose a parent early to, and probably already have, right? So to see them and to see God's possibility, man, whew, all right. Yeah, I feel it a little bit. Good morning, Sister Donna Brown, Sister Sarah Matthews, good morning. Yeah, I feel the emotion in my chest and everything, because just the sight of them children. Whew, man, it moved me. Cause I love us and I love our people. And I just want humanity to be able to, all of us, regardless of race, age, creed, your sexual preference, all that stuff is between you and God. But to have some common decency towards one another and to live and let live and allow people to have a chance to pursue their wildest dreams. And it's something that I've been through, fighting and struggling. Oh man, good morning. She said, Jackie, you are hilarious. Thanks for keeping this interesting and funny. I love you, Auntie Gwen. Auntie Gwen and put all that time in at recreation and parks, man. I missed that celebration because I had got that news. But I'm all right. I'm holding strong. Auntie Gwen is a God fearing person. She always prayed for me. She prayed with me. Um, so I'm appreciative, right? But yeah, man, seeing those young boys, it's just like, come on, God, just keep moving. Keep moving us, keep moving us, keep moving us. And that's what it is. God is motion, is action. That's what God is to me. It's action. It's motion. It's putting the word out there and pursuing that word and bringing that thing to fruition. And that's what God do. God put a dream in you, put a thought in you, and he helps you to manifest that thought. So God to me is thought and energy. When you think about something, take that energy. Hey, Cynthia, good morning. Um, Cynthia Bruce says, children don't always get murdered if they don't stay on track. Some are murdered senselessly. That's a really good observation. That's a really good observation because sometimes some kids are just going to school and minding their business, which again, when we talking about that, because this is a pop-up conversation here and there, when we talk about the kids who get caught up and have harm done to them, that's not even running with that crowd. And it makes you think, what is going on in that individual's mind or in a child's mind that would cause them to go after somebody that's a little less stronger than them, that's they might consider weaker than them. You know how we all went to school and people were bullied in school because you wore glasses, you was a nerd, and they would get on you, or because you wanted to sit up front and you like math, and excuse me, and the people would tease you about you enjoying math or whatever. But because to me, because the adults have allowed the behavior to continue to persist. When I was a kid, we had bullies, right? Always, and that's what other people say. Well, shit, excuse me, but yeah, it's always been bullies. That's how it is. You just got to man up, and you just got to, don't let them bully you and all that. And in my mind, I'm like, nah. Maybe that's something that we need to stop. That should not be a norm. It should not be a cultural norm to allow children to come to school and bully other kids or attack a kid. I seen a video, man, where like 8 people just jumped on this one child, damn near killed the kid. That stuff is not normal. Bullying and harassing other people for no reason, that is not normal. And it's up to us, like Cynthia said. Some kids get hurt and harmed and not even involved in that. But I had shared before that one of the things that Shorty always says is that racism persists because of black cooperation. And I use the same idea, that same mind when it comes to the things that persist in our community, because we are allowing it in some cases. We're cooperating with that behavior. We know we got some bad children in our house. You can see the kid bullying his little cousin. You can see the kid bullying his little brother. His little brother might be playing with a game, and he'll go right over there and just snatch it right out of his hand. And instead of us correcting the behavior, we allow it to keep going on and on and on and on. And a child grow up thinking, if I want something, all I gotta do is go and take it. So there are some people who are willing to want something, desire something, and willing to take it from you because I want that, and you won't give it to me. So to Cynthia's point, we have to do better to correct the behavior of children. It is easier to correct them when they are younger than to try to correct them when they're on the way to the penitentiary. So if we think about it, we start with our children when it comes to dressing and dress codes. Start with them when they are younger. Put some decent clothes on them every day. And when they come home, like because the clothes are high, they always used to tell us, take them damn school clothes off. You got to put your play clothes on. But when you leave out that house, you should always, to me, you should always have your kids dressed decently. And I just personally believe that when a child is dressed in a certain kind of way, it gives him confidence. When I saw those young men graduating with We Our Us, when I saw them, oh my goodness. Yeah, that's what they say, Sister Cheryl. Sister Cheryl say, look at those little pickaninnies. God forgive me. Sometimes, well, I'm still drying my eyes from what I was thinking about previously, but that is funny. Little pickaninnies. That is, I think that term comes from the African tribe. I think they was called pygmies. They were really dark and really, really small. In fact, I learned something, and it was disturbing. Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory came out in like 1960s, and it starred Gene Wilder. And he was talking about, I think it was Oompa Loompas or something like that he had in his factory. Sister Donna said my grandma used to say, you don't leave out of this house until you are public ready. Go ahead, Sister Donna. We need to put that on us. We need to put that on a poster. Don't leave out unless you're public ready. But I learned something watching Gene Wilder in Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. I later in life learned that the little chocolate treats he had, according to the original book, were actually pygmies, Africans that they stole from Africa, and I think they supposed to have cooked them or something like that. Sort of like cannibalism. It's kind of weird. You should look that up. Matter of fact, I always tell you bring a pen. Look up Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. I don't know what the original name of the book was, but in the original book, what Gene Wilder talks about in the film, his little chocolate pygmies, they were actually in the book, they were actually Africans that were stolen from Africa, brought over here, and he turned them into some sort of candy or something, which is really, it's cannibalism, and it's kind of disturbing. But look that up, Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, the pygmies. and the little pickaninnies that he talked about being such delicious chocolate treats were actually slaves that he had stole. Well, they weren't slaves. He stole human beings and brought them over here. Hey, good morning, Miss Kia Simpson. Good morning, good morning, good morning. But I was saying that, the dress code is something that I think we should address. And when we do that, we also, kind of can start laying down the law in terms of behavior. Before they come home, they say charity starts at home. And when we send our children to school, a lot of the teachers are so overwhelmed because they feel like the parents or the guardians are sending these children to us and expect us to perform a miracle. Sister Carly says, yes, I was always curious about that movie, but never cared for it. Yes, Sister Carly, look that up. And maybe you can share that with us next Saturday. And you can drop it in the chat what you actually learned about the correlation of what I just said. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and those little delicious chocolate treats actually being uh pygmies that were stolen from Africa. Yeah. But I was saying, today we talking about, the dress code and the Tuskegee University ban on bonnets, among other things, because this is a popcorn conversation, and how that is taking two sides. You have some people who are saying folks should be able to dress they want to how they want to dress. How you going to tell them how to dress, what to do? And then you have the other, more traditional people that say, yeah, that's not appropriate. And these are college students. You are at Tuskegee University, a historically black college and university, and you want to come out here with a bonnet on your head? You want to come out here with slippers and night clothes on? That's not professional. Like, you are in this college setting to groom you and get you ready for the professional work world, for a career. Now, talking about dressing, I seen it on Good Morning, no, the Today Show. They have this trend where males feel like they should be able to come to the workplace with shorts on. And one of the guys said, well, I work in IT or something, he said, so I should be able to wear shorts. But places like Banana Republic, the Gap, different, especially Banana Republic, I know that they definitely have, casual looking shorts. You could actually throw on a blazer with some of these shorts, put a pair of dress socks on, and put a pair of Cole Haans on, and you would look really nice. But they tell me, yeah, my knees need to breathe. Let the legs breathe. Men are always starting some foolishness. Sister Denise says Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was written by Ronald Dahl. Yup. Published in 1964. I hope you got your pen. I appreciate that. That's why I love you guys. Some of the smartest people on the planet. Not only are y'all good looking, but you're intelligent. That's exactly who it was. Roald Dahl. And I think he's the guy who wrote possibly the Jungle Book. But he wrote a couple of really good books. But go and look that up. Drop that bad boy in the chat if you come up with something right now. The correlation between the pygmies, the little teeny people that he talks about in his book. But anywho, now speaking of dress codes and how crazy our society can be now, men want to be able to come to the office, a professional office setting with shorts on. And it's a big time debate. I don't know who's going to win. I don't know if the job will have policies to say, nope, we're not doing it, because there's a dress code at every job. Every job has a dress code. And maybe there are some places where you have shorts on and it don't necessarily matter, because you might be, I don't know, electrician or something. You might be somebody that don't come in contact with the public. But I know for what I would like to see, I would like to see people dress more professional and more appropriate, especially in the African American community. I think it means a lot. I think it means a lot on how you present yourself, and I think it says a lot. If you see a lady come out her house and she back in the day, if she had rollers in her hair, that was really a no. You come down bopping down the street with them pink rollers in your hair if you want, trying to get that little flipped up old fashioned hairstyle. But if you come down the street with them rollers on, people will look and say, look at her little lazy self. They think the people is lazy. They think that they didn't even take the time out to doll themselves up. So I just think it's all about presentation. Then when we think about history and our community, they had a saying called Dapper Dan, and a person who they say, you're looking pretty dapper. That was a term, you know what I mean? Dapper Dan, I'm sorry, Dapper Dan is actually one of the guys who was a pioneers in hip hop culture and the way that people dressed. And he would take materials like what Louis Vuitton would use, what Prada or Gucci would use, and he would turn it into a hip hop flavor. He was the original person who kind of brought luxury into hip hop, if you will. Because initially, hip hop was just like a pair of Adidas, a pair of Lee jeans, a pair of Wrangler jeans, a T-shirt with a Kangol on. It was pretty simple. But when the brother Dapper Dan up in New York came along, he started, adding runway style clothing into the hip hop lifestyle. And as a result, when the hip hop artists start making money, he is quick to go to Gucci. Yeah, the dress codes are very debatable. I agree. But when he get rich, he quick to go to, it used to be the Tommy Hill figures. Marquia says that she agreed we should take pride in our appearance. I know they should take a page out of your book, Miss Marquia Bones, because she comes out the house. She is always fly. That thing always look like she get ready to go to a damn fashion show. Fly little girl. But they will go and spend money with Tommy Hilfiger, millions and millions of dollars, the Louis Vuittons, the Gucci's, the Pradas of the world. They'll spend a lot of money, and it really was because Dapper Dan had brought that in. But the term back in like Langston Hughes days and, during the Harlem Renaissance and whatnot, they had a term that was floating around where they would tell a gentleman, mainly a gentleman, and say, you're looking pretty dapper. And that was because that was a style of dress where you were really sharp. You had your little thing and um your lapel, you had all this nice stuff on. I just would like to see us get back to that again. Because again, man, just observing those little babies in that line with those ties on, I can see the difference in their eyes. I could see the difference in the way that they sit. They wasn't slouching, they were sitting up. And they felt, I can't say what they felt, but I can see that they felt proud of themselves. Fresh haircut. Do you ever see like we have back to school giveaways here in Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm sure in New Jersey, Philly, California. I know they got back to school giveaways all over. The state's attorney is getting ready to have one. Mr. Ivan Bates is getting ready to have one August the 15th over East Baltimore for Sinclair Lane, little school up there. And I think it's 8 barbers that's coming. And when you get them little kids in that chair and you cut them little boys' hair, you can see the difference. Sometimes things are so hard that it's hard to keep the kids' appearance up. Some of the little boys had and grew out like this. People don't have the money. I'm telling you, that $20 or $30 that you spend for a haircut, that's something, that's a meal that you can put on the table because times are so hard. So yeah, it really is important with your confidence and everything, and with just changing the attitudes in our community, that dress code. And it is very debatable. Should or shouldn't Tuskegee University ban bonnets, bedroom shoes, bedroom clothes, and do-rags? I'm on the side to say yes. Yeah, Miss Marquez said when you look good, you feel good. And that's the truth. I'm getting ready to try to get fresh myself. For anybody that's available, when I get off of here, I'm going over to Morgan State University. They have something going on, and you probably be able to Google it. It's a Black Psychologist Summit or something like that. Brother Anthony Wazir on Facebook posted it. Brother Andrew Muhammad also, I think, posted it. But it's a place where you might want to be, because we had a really, really beautiful sister, a Black psychologist named Patricia Newton. Again, Patricia Newton. Check her out, because whether it is the way that we dress, let me see, Sister Donna says a back to school giveaway Thursday, August the 20th at 701 Gold Street. Oh man, right up in the Sandtown area, West Baltimore. Check it out. Keep your pen. Sister says back to school giveaway Thursday, August 20th, 701 Gold Street from 2 to 6. Make sure you get up there. You can never have enough school supplies. That stuff go by quick. And if it's money that you don't have to spend, that's money that you can take and put in another area of your household, if you will. But I was saying that the dressing, the dress code, changing the attitude is definitely the way that we should go. I don't think that it should be I don't think that it should be a debate. I think that we should start now. And if you have a teenage girl and she want to go outside with that bonnet on, I suggest we say no. If your hair not done, it means that you need to get your hair done. I suggest we say no. If we have teenage sons or young children in our house, I really suggest that we stop letting them sag their pants. Tell them no. We got to take control over this thing. We got to move into a place where we can see what the 8-year-old is going to be able to do. It's these days, man, you can't even plan a future for your children. We can't even plan a future for the next 10 or 15 years. You dealing with an 8-year-old in the second grade or whatever, and nobody can clearly set the stage for this child and say, all right, well, he likes engineering. So he's going to go to this school, this school, this school, this school. This is going to be the hopeful outcome. It's like we're on a wing and a prayer with how we moving. And I think we got to get back on the right track in terms of producing engineers and doctors and lawyers, because that's what we used to do. My man used to live not too far from here, Thurgood Marshall. Sister Juanita Brown says, my thing is, how do this people think that them pants off the butt is fashionable? Where did this style ever come from? Well, believe it or not, and I'm glad this is an adult show. We don't have no kids here. But believe it or not, there are some claims that pants sagging was a prison lifestyle. Pants sagging, allegedly, I don't know where it came from. God knows it's horrible. But allegedly, the males would have their pants who were available to other males would have their pants sagging, and that's what that allegedly meant. That, I'm into that lifestyle like that. So I don't know how true it is, but that's what I heard. But yeah, getting back to getting ourselves on the right track, I actually think that's a good start. I think etiquette, home economic classes, I think teaching children how to, sit up properly and how to eat. Like, you're supposed to have a salad fork. You're supposed to have like a regular fork. Then you got your damn your spoon. And then on one side you got this. And man, it's a lady in Philadelphia. I wish she was here. But she does etiquette training for young people. Oh God, it is so nice. I said, I need that damn class. But she's got the young kids, the boys sitting on one side. And when they greet the little girls, they actually greet them. They pull their chair out and they sit down. She tell them what fork to get, how to speak, how to sit, how to walk. It is a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing to witness, because our people, when they talk about Black excellence and when they talk about greatness, that is part of it. Part of it is having good diction. Part of it is carrying yourselves in a decent way. Part of it is having proper etiquette when you're at the table. That's what they strive for. That's why when you look at those old pictures, man, them people wasn't playing. Now they were still eating pig feet and shit, and they were still eating pig feet and damn hog maws and chitlins and whatnot. That was on the table, but they were still, yeah, they was eating that pork, man. It wasn't nothing more than pork that was safe. His ears, eyes, he was done. Come in the black household, he was done. They gonna cook him up. Oh wow, Sherelle Evans is here. That's my girl. She says that pants sagging originated by slave owners, and it told which slaves had already been. Oh, wow, buck breaking. Sister Michelle Johnson say books by the cover. Wow, man, I never even thought about that. I'm gonna go ahead and check that out. I appreciate that insight, Sister Sherelle Evans. I love you. But yeah, I think we would definitely benefit from some etiquette classes. I think that would help us get back on the right track. And we will benefit from identifying the children who are the bullies. Sister Roxanne said, yes, back to school on Gold Street, August 20th. And then August 29th at First Mount Calvary, 1142 Fulton Avenue. She says, and we will have haircuts. All this in Sandtown. So there you have it. Bring a pen. August the 29th at Mount Calvary. Sister Denise says, I posted on my Facebook page. Yeah. Yeah, Sister Denise always passed that information around. But yeah, man, that might be something that somebody in this track number 9 group, because we're a gang. We track number 9 gang, baby. There, Sister Charmaine Quall said that she think it come from jail. Hi, Charmaine. Good morning. Man, but anyway, to try and get us on the right track, I think that if somebody wanted to start some etiquette classes, if somebody, especially with young women, because one thing I know about young women, when it comes to the male is only going to do as much as the woman will allow him to do. Those young sisters, like if a guy takes an interest in a girl, you will have to show up at the house at a certain time. You will have to, hey, brother Clarence is here from the rooter to the tutor. He say that's what he heard when he was coming. He ain't lying. That pig was done from the rooter to the tutor. They eat every part of them. But yeah, I was saying that we could probably benefit getting our children back on the right track to some etiquette classes and teaching the young sisters like they do in the nation, teaching them how to sew, teaching them how to cook, teaching them how to clean. Because every little 15-year-old boy, 14-year-old boy, he wants himself a cute little girl. Every one of them. And when he comes to the little girl, she can be able to say, well, no, you can only come around my house at a certain time. And no, we can't do this. So I think the way to get the young boys to act right is to get to the girls. Like they say, a nation can rise no higher than its woman. The minister say, when you go into a community, if you want to know about a community or a civilization, look at the woman. Look at the woman. She is the one. She is the one that will help lead the nation. And I believe it's little girls. If we get to them so that they can understand that this is how you should be treated, this is how you should conduct yourself, I think we have a better chance at helping to shift the mindset of the young boys, right? And speaking of which, and it's a touchy situation because I have a good friend that I love dearly. And he's kind of close to the situation. 16-year-old boy murdered a 15-year-old girl and her brother. And people on the outside looking in really think that it was because of a relationship. You know what I'm saying? And our young boys' inability to kind of deal with their feelings. And I don't know. I have no idea about this case. I don't know. I know that somebody that I love dearly is kind of close to the situation, but I have no facts about it. This is only hearsay, and what's going around is that The little boy happened in Gwen Oaks, Maryland, like, right here up in Baltimore. But the little boy allegedly, was seeing the little girl, and I don't know if the little girl went and was cheating on him or saw somebody else or whatever. But it's something else to be able to kind of get our children, emotionally regulated, especially the boys. The boys need to be emotionally regulated when it comes to the women in their lives, the little girls around them, how to treat them and how to respond or whatever. So again, I think that starts with the little girl. I think the little girls can be the ones to help bring our boys up to a standard, if you will. That's just my thought. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. We are at our time. And thank you. I love y'all. Y'all let me go on and on and on, man. Y'all listen to me. Y'all participate in these conversations. And these conversations and the guests that I have on. Hey, good morning again, Charmaine. And the guests that I have on only meant to provoke some thought and hopefully produce some energy so that collectively we can all get on the right track and stay on the right track. That is my thought. And definitely keep me and my little day, keep me in your prayer. I don't know, Karan, our young producer, our young handsome producer, Karan, maybe he can show a picture Day. That's my little Day right there. And that picture that I had took of her, I shared it with somebody. I had been so busy that day that I had walked them. It was snowing outside. Something was going on. The weather was bad. I had walked both my dogs, and I came in the house, and I had got busy, and I looked up, and Day had fell asleep in her damn coat. I say, Lord have mercy. I got so busy. I took the other one's coat off, little Catherine Victoria Cooper. But I looked up a damn hour later. Day knocked out on the pillow, laid up in her coat. I say, Lord have mercy. I got to be a better dog mom. But anyway, that's my baby, stricken with cancer. And I don't even like to give that energy. I try to keep it positive in this house because animals pick up on energy. And I don't want her to feel none of that. I want her to feel nothing but love and the blessings from our Lord and Savior and how beautiful life is. I'm going to try to give her the best life I can. For now, I'm going to write a little 20-page book, try to raise some money because they talk about $7,000 to remove it. You know how ridiculous they are because they know we love our pets. And they just get really ridiculous with the prices, but it's all good. I'm going to figure some stuff out. I'm going to use this. This is what God gave me. This is my hustle. They're going to say, Monica, back hustling again. Yeah, I'm hustling. That's my hustle right here. My brain. I know how to get some money. I'm going to get some money. Ain't no question about that. I'm going to get some money. This it right here. This is the money. This is the money. So I'm going to go ahead and try to raise some money and get that cancer removed from Day. Let's show Day one more time. Hey, there go my man. Hey, Elliot Johnson. Apology. She was looking at last week's show. Okay, it's all good. Thank you so much, Donna Brown, lifting us up in prayer, man. It's difficult when and I don't have any kids. My man, my kid is my dogs. So I'm gonna do what I gotta do, pull myself together, and just try to take care of my little dogs and continue to try to work on behalf of my people and all of humanity. That's all I want. I want God to just keep giving me strength so that I can work and make this world a better place. I'm telling you, we all need it. We're gonna stay prayed up, and I thank the Lord for all of y'all. Have a good day. God bless y'all. I love y'all. Thank you.
We inspire greatness at track number 9. Stay on the right track and let your light shine. Step by step, reach for what's true. Track number 9, your greatness is waiting for you.